So what sells you on a brand new game console? Does exclusive games, or does a service that allows you to play new games when they are available and skip the retail price you're paying for sell you on a game console? Think about that question and we'll revisit it later in the video. About a year ago, Microsoft announced that it was acquiring Activision Blizzard for about $69 billion, and that's more money than Mr. Deeds knows to do with.
What brings you to the big city?
Actually, I just inherited $40 billion.
Well, that's nice.
Then, the CEO of Sony Interactive, Jim Ryan, absolutely lost his mind and inserted himself into the situation, saying that the acquisition of Activision Blizzard was anti-competitive. This coming from the person who is head of a company that is known for their exclusives, and the number of exclusives tower over Microsoft. In a troll move, Microsoft, fighting to keep the deal alive, said that it would commit to putting Call of Duty on the console of Nintendo for the next 10 years, in which that case, that video would open that would open up a whole new can of worms and another video itself. Would you play Call of Duty on Switch? Doubt it. They said this, and we're open to talking with Sony whenever they're ready too, throwing the ball in their court. Currently, the FTC is looking into this deal because of the fact that the deal that this would be would essentially make this the highest grossing franchise ever done. So Microsoft was then sued by gamers to block the deal going forward. Furthermore, it appears that the FTC doesn't consider Nintendo a significant enough platform for when Microsoft saying it will commit its Call of Duty to the system for the next 10 years. It's not even considered a factor in the equation. The FTC considers the Switch next gen hardware and not powerful enough hardware to compete. So does this seem fair to Microsoft at all? When you think of exclusives for, let's say, Nintendo, what do you think of? Mario and its spin-off games like Mario Kart, Mario Golf, Mario All-Stars Battle League, stuff like that. Zelda, Kirby, Smash, Splatoon, Splatoon to name a recent one. When you think of Sony exclusives, what do you think of? God of War, Ratchet and Clank, Gran Turismo, Horizon, and you can really name right off the bat like several exclusive games that come to each of these consoles. But when you look at the exclusives that come to mind when you think of Xbox, now I as a person don't yet own an Xbox. I plan to own an Xbox this year. As someone who owns PlayStation and Switch and doesn't own an Xbox, I think of Xbox and I think, oh yeah, Halo right off the bat. Forza, I can remember back in the day Fable, and they even announced a return of Fable in 2020, only to have it last week announced that it's going to be very much delayed, and I believe restarted if I'm not mistaken. So when we compare the number of Xbox exclusives to PlayStation, it pales in comparison. But do exclusives even matter? See, Microsoft doesn't even seem to want to compete on the basis of exclusives. When you look at their exclusives, I mean, to name a few, I mean, they have Gears of War, they have State of Decay, they have the upcoming Starfield. And again, it's more focused on getting their games on everywhere it can, really. So you can play Game Pass games on the new Samsung TV that's coming out. You can play it on mobile devices. You can play it on PC. You can play it wherever the app exists. So the barrier to entry for Xbox really is getting really low, and that seems to be their focus, is just diversifying everywhere. I personally say as someone who sucks at Call of Duty and does not care about Call of Duty whatsoever, that let Microsoft buy Activision. The argument seems to come down mostly to Call of Duty. Although we were talking mostly about Call of Duty, we're also talking about Tony Hawk, Crash, Spyro, Diablo, and more. And actually, when I polled you guys, I was actually surprised to find out that most of you play Call of Duty on PlayStation. So it's a bit surprising. I expected that to be Xbox, maybe PC, but I was expecting more of it to be Xbox. So I think that gamers shouldn't really have anything to fear in the short term, as far as if we're going to take Microsoft at their word and they really want to put Call of Duty on every system imaginable, and it doesn't want to make it an Xbox exclusive, which is what Sony is really afraid of, then I'm gonna say, if you're afraid of Xbox making Call of Duty an exclusive that badly, then why don't you try to reinvigorate your other first-person shooters? Like, I mean, where's Killzone? As all the attention going into Horizon that Guerrilla can't make another Killzone? Or what about Resistance? I mean, are we gonna leave that? Let me know in the comments below what you think of the situation. Should the Microsoft Activision deal go through? At the beginning of the video, I asked, what do you think is a better way to sell a console? Exclusive games or services that allow you to skip out on retail price? And darn it, I actually worded my poll completely wrong. And I said, what is the better value in gaming? My bad. So, of those of you who voted, most of you say that playing games on Game Pass is worth more than console exclusives. So, at first when I was contemplating this, I'm thinking of historically my purchases in the past. Like, I love Mario, I love Zelda, I love Uncharted, I love Metal Gear Solid, I love Horizon, I love God of War. So, all those games are console exclusives. So, what do you know? I buy a Switch and a PlayStation. Halo, I've played the first Halo, I love the first Halo, and I've always wanted to finish the series, but that was like the one Xbox game that I ever wanted, an Xbox 4, and to me it wasn't worth one set of games to get Xbox for. But now, when you think of how Xbox is really trying to change the game, a couple videos ago I made a video, and you can check it out up here, I made a video about how Nintendo innovates, and that's how it wins. Well, take a look at Xbox and how it is trying to innovate with Game Pass. Now, Game Pass has been on consoles since last generation and continues to improve the service as we go along, as far as I know anyway. It's compelled me to get an Xbox anyway. Granted, you can't actually own these games that you're buying per se, but who cares about ownership exactly in these days, depending on the game you want to get. So if you're wanting to keep God of War forever, then yeah, go buy it. If you're wanting to play the new Crime City, the Crime Boss Rocket City, or High on Life, if those are like quick games that you don't really feel like paying retail price for, but you definitely want to experience, then Game Pass is really like a great deal going forward. I mean, it's really kind of a revolutionary way to experience games. Starfield, if you're gonna put thousands of hours into one game, maybe that's better than experienced on Game Pass. But again, there are different players, that have different tastes and all that stuff. So I was team PlayStation, again, because of their exclusives. That's what always sold me on the consoles. Same goes with the Nintendo. But I think Game Pass really should be considered by a whole new set of gamers that don't really think of console exclusives. I think there's a new way that should be thought of video games. So let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are. Again, always want to have a conversation with you guys, and let me know what you think gives you more bang for your buck outside of just this poll here. Comment below. And until next time, go spend time with your families, go ace that next test, and make sure you go throw touchdowns before playing Call of Duty. I'll see you in the next one.